here to work here to Cop22 what the next solutions are. Today we'll be focusing on building momentum. There's the 2016 momentum for change award. Momentum change showcases transformative solutions to climate change taking place all over the world. It recognizes actions over promises and innovation over outdated institutional ways of tackling environmental damage. Momentum for change gives people in their progress in the center. Right now, we're hearing from 5 of the 2016 Lighthouse Award winners ahead of their major ceremony tomorrow night. In this discussion, we'll be turning the spotlight on innovators from Morocco, Nepal, the US, Malaysia, and Sweden. To moderate this panel, we have Max Edmonds of the World Bank and Connect for Climate.
Thank you, Justine. Thank you all for being here. I think in addition to actually Connect for Climate is drawing the energy change as you can see, and we're very proud to be a part of it and very excited to showcase the movement that you guys are. It truly is a showcase of action on the ground and innovation to go beyond the fight we want to ramp up the innovation and make sure that we achieve the science targets that we need to. It's hosted under the Earth America Coalition in support of the SDG Media Zone. Thank you all for having me and for being here, making the time to be here. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself and also talk a little bit about your solution. And so I'm going to hand over the mission straight to Jeannette. So,
thank you, Max, and thank you for allowing us to be here to talk about our project, which is Darcy Maughan's Fall Water Harvesting Project. It is the largest fall water harvesting project in the world. It's here in southwest Morocco, and we work in rural urban villages on the tail end of the Anti-Atlas Mountains, right on the edge of the Sahara Desert, where people in the communities are water stressed. There's about 6 inches of rain that falls a year, and women spend 3 to 4 hours every day going to wells to haul contaminated, compromised water. Yet in this area, for 6 months of the year, there is what I like to call world-class fog. It rolls into the mountains, across the valleys, and our project is to harvest polluted water from those fog banks and provide that water to rural urban communities. About 500 community members now. We're expanding with more than doubling the project over the next couple of years. So there's the innovation in the fog harvesting technology, but what we're doing is meeting a need on the ground for polluted water in an area of the world where climate change is progressively devastating. There's longer droughts, deeper droughts, and North Africa is really one of the most susceptible places in the world to climate change.
thank you very much. I'm going to hand over now to Jeannette, who's going to tell us about the WFS.
Thank you very much. It's also a great pleasure. I'm the executive director of an organization called Organizing for Change in Agriculture and Resource Management. We've been working in the fields of gender, women's empowerment, agriculture, and resource management over the last 3 decades. And what we've seen again and again is that women's contributions to climate change, so they are critical. Women are critical to the solution of climate change. But what we've seen is that their roles and contributions are not acknowledged and not valued. So we created the W+ standard as a way that would allow us to see those contributions, to measure those contributions, value those contributions. And in doing so, we also created a way for women's lives to improve and for the projects of climate change to in fact pay attention to the benefits that could be provided to women as part of the project development. The creation of the W+ standard provides a framework and a channel for individuals, companies, investors, and donors to show their contribution and to be 100% confident that whatever they're doing in relation to climate change projects, in fact, does produce.
Fantastic, thank you very much. And I understand you're already reaching and supporting more than 7,000 people in the program. Great work. Next up is Conkling from the Project Sunroof from the US.
I'm Joel Conkling. I work with Google on Sunroof. And what we see is that people are looking for a way to do something environmentally responsible and also looking for a way to save money on electricity. So solar power is one of those opportunities for a lot of people. And Project Sunroof helps people answer that question in a very customized way. All over the world and conventions, I'm very happy with solar calculations, energy estimates. Just find out the answer about the solar makes sense. Currently mapped school technology to now 43 million buildings in the US. And we're looking to continue expanding to help solar reach its potential in the US and essentially abroad.
And I believe you had a very accelerated uptake of the program. Over 8 months, you grew from 2 states to all 48 states.
We launched in 2 states, now we're in 43 states. Well, 42 states plus DC, and 43 million buildings over this year.
Fantastic. We look forward to seeing it take off globally. I'm going to ask Lena from the Gothenburg Green Bond from Sweden to explain how you guys work with Green Bonds to implement that in your city.
I'm Mangroves, Head of Treasury for the City of Gothenburg, and our project is a green bond. It's basically earmarked money for environmentally friendly investments, and I think it's a fantastic example on how the Treasury Department and the Sustainability Department can work together. Two very different disciplines and backgrounds. And we also see huge interest from investors and financial benefits in that way. And we also think that it's increasing the credibility for our environmental programs and the investors want to fund it more together.
And can I maybe just ask, so how much have you managed to raise and fund for Green Bonds so far?
Well, we issued the first bond in 2013. Because it was to do it, and we were trying to secure our would be an interest in the financial markets. So, but when we opened the books that morning, we had after 20 minutes, we had more than 2 times the amount. We had to close the books because it was a huge amount. And that's how we see part, we see the same pattern. I won't say that the interest is increasing. So for the moment, we have 10% of the city's outstanding debt that's funded by green money, and that is we will see that will increase in the coming years.
And then I'd like to hand over to Supriya Prasannan from Malaysia, who will be telling us about the next Mangroves.
Thank you for this opportunity. I represent Ericsson Malaysia, and we actually started this as a very humble project. As our 5th year, we were giving back something to Malaysia, and so we thought, what can be something sustainable for the country? And so we went down and planted about 200 over plants. That was first goal. And what we found out is, out of all the plants that generally is planted in this particular village, only 30%, maybe 30% to 40% might survive it. And that really took us by a shock, because we all know the importance of the mangrove ecosystem that actually is going to be as the highest contribution of, taking off the carbon emission and storing it. So, having said that, being a technology leader, Ericsson has got this concept that we call the network society, and anything that can be connected with it and can benefit from it, we will do it. So, being about leadership in the information communication technology world, what did we do? We actually came together with the NGO, which actually runs this project, where they actually do the conservation, that's a global environmental center. They, together with the community, they taught the community not just the awareness of you have to take care of your mangroves, but they also actually brought in the element of sustainability into it. And so it's possible if we bring real-time information into their hands. And what we did is we partnered up with Lenihan, which is a technology partner which has sensors. And what we attempted, what are the sensors? We monitor the soil, we monitor the water levels, we monitor the humidity, the temperature. So basically, we started in a small group. We decided to let the mangroves talk to us. So we started getting, and we also actually installed a video camera. Now, out of this, what had happened in 6 months, I'll give it a short one, is basically we started having good insight to what's happening on the plot that we planted. And fundamental things that came up was one, there were visitors, there were monkeys, families of monkeys actually on the ground. So they were going on and actually destroying the plants. So we had to take mitigation action, which we worked with the neighbor, and we found out that we could put a different variety, which is much more sustainable, and the monkeys don't like it. Okay, so we found one. The second thing is we found there was a lot of rubbish, which was actually choking the plant. Now, these were by the cameras itself, right? So these were just two immediate things where we actually found out and we started taking action. But there are many more things now that in the month of March, where we call it a dry season condition. So alarms will come onto the gadgets of the respective NGO or the community head or even the authorities, the government heads, to tell them mitigation action needs to be taken. So what Harvestin has done back to the community and in general to the climate is we've got technology, enabled technology for good. So that whatever projects that we do, there is a way for us to succeed. Right? And if there's anything that each one of us can do is we plant the plants and the technology part of it together with partners will.
Fantastic. So it's almost like whispering trees, so they're talking back to you. No, that's great. So, I mean, as you can see, these are really amazing solutions from every corner of the world on every sphere, from building resilience to women empowerment to mitigating the impact of climate. So I'd like to delve a little bit deeper into each one of these solutions. So, Leslie, if you can actually explain what Conkling is actually seeing and how it works, and how you then actually use the harvested water and distribute it to the globe.
So fall harvesting has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. So what we're doing is almost a biomimicry. We're mimicking what already occurs naturally in nature. So what we do is we have installed 600 square meters of what I'm going to call first generation nets. And these are single ply nets with a loose weave. And those are erected on the top of Mount Prasannan, which is the tail end of the Antiochus Mountains. What we have 6 months of the year is an advantageous water current off of the Atlantic Ocean and an advantageous currents that pull this moist air on top of the Atlantic and it blows on shore. And then it blows on shore about 30 kilometers in and it bumps up against the tail end of the Antiochus Mountains. So it's really a mechanical barrier. That moist column of air hits the mountains. It has nowhere to move up. And because there's a wind that caps that moist air, doesn't dissipate. 6 months a year, it's capped. So that moist air hits the mountain and it just, it basically thunders with fog. It creates world-class fog that then is blowing across the nets. So it's a passive system. Blows across the nets that we have, and then we have we collect it and runs into gutters, and then we have the UV, a hybrid solar and conventional electricity filtration station up at the top of the mountain, particulate UV, and then there's 8 kilometers of pipes down slope, and this is very tough countryside. Dry, scraps. You can't get machines to basically carve the jobs you need for the pipes. So there's 8 kilometers of pipe down slope, and then We have secondary and tertiary piping to every home, every inhabited home in 5 villages. Quickly, because this is a really exciting time for the project, is that we are in this revolutionary change in crop harvesting. In that our site is both a community-led development site, but it's also a research-led project. So we have been working with meteorologists, ecoclimatologists, and engineers. And one of those engineers has, because we had some problems with the wind, blowing out the nets, ripping the nets, German engineer partner, he reinvented, reconceived a frog nets, and he has created a new net that has is almost like a net sandwich. Think of it as an ice cream sandwich. Has a hard plastic grid or a semi-rigid plastic grid, keeps the nets from blowing out, and then it has this mesh, a honeycomb mesh, on the surface of the net, so the surface area is increased. So now we can collect, depending on the fog event, perhaps up to 40% more water. So this is a moment where fog harvesting technology has gone from this sort of passive simplify to the new higher tech, high efficiency nets.
That's a great example of innovation right there. And that's the kind of innovation we want to see with all our before. So over to you, Jeannette. Could you maybe just explain a little bit about the process of actually certifying projects and what are the criteria that you use to assess whether a project is of benefit to women and how it then gets W plus A?
Okay, thank you. We started with women's empowerment and we said, what defines women's empowerment? And we had consultations with a group of women in the mountains all in also Western Canada. And much to our surprise, I think they came to the same six domains. And they said time, health, food security, income and assets, education and knowledge, and leadership. And so we said, okay, those are the major categories of leaders. We have developed methods around each one of those, combining both qualitative and quantitative data with a unit that gives an indication of results. So we were very much inspired by a carbon way of measuring it. Line, and we take the baseline, and it could be a carbon-related project, it could be a food security project, it could be a community development, it could be frog harvesting project, right? Absolutely. And we do the baseline, and then we measure the results after some specified time. One of those categories doesn't need to be one. We have health, we have food security. And then we're able to quantify units, and then it's independently verified. We have units that we are then able to sell on our unit. The next question is, who's going to buy the unit? Well, we're really trying to create a market social capital. This is not easy. The project that we won the award for was the application of this to a biogas project. Biogas project was providing, it was done for the purpose of carbon emissions units. And at the same time, they were in fact developing delivery methods who no longer had electric orders and had 100% energy substitution from to this very dismantled source. Nobody was thinking about how it's benefiting that carbon production project its benefits to women if we put that on it. So we measure time saving. Time is the fundamental and first thing that needs to happen in order for women's empowerment to occur. In developing economies where women are working 20 hours a day. So we measured 2.2 hours per day time saved for every woman from every month. So now what becomes interesting is what do they do with that time? And the women, when the question to them. They said, we want to learn new technologies for food security, we want to help our children with education, we want to assume as contribution to the community. All the right things, right? I wish they had just said, I want to take a nap. That would have been a good one. So what happened then? We sold those units, and then we returned a large percentage of the revenue to the women's groups involved in this. Our belief is that the women's groups found throughout the world are really the answer to the solution. That they're hugely under. So the story we have to tell is the transfer of money, and they then use that money.
Fantastic. And as we see the investor landscape change and more awareness coming into, investing into companies and projects that are socially aware and also empowered, this is the kind of work that we need. So over to Gothenburg, Lena, if you could maybe lay out some of the real success projects that came out of the Green Climate Bond, like the ones that really stood out and really hit you personally very much, and then you feel very proud of it.
I think for the city projects that sound, for example, the biogas production, and what I think is the best part of it is we as a city, we have a very large company. We have everything from the largest port in Scandinavia, and we have our own user park and so on. And that is when we issue the bond, we have the opportunity to finance a wide variety of projects. Say, if we have tree planting, for example, in the bonds, that would have been impossible to issue a bond for tree planting with just a couple of millions. But when you take all these kinds of projects, like electric cars, tree planting, or a water purification for a couple of $100 million, you have the opportunity to take them together in one bond. I think that's where the success is. You can sort of pool all the projects. Instead of having a lot of small projects, it's impossible to use that kind of funding. You have to pool them together, one bigger bond, and then access the market, and then access that kind of capital that wants to invest in business. So we have a variety of projects that stand out in that way. We have a lot of large projects, like the biogas production in that way, that is a success. But I would say that it's a concept in that way. The opportunities that you have to pool all the projects together.
Absolutely fantastic. And looking forward, what are your plans? Where do you stand in terms of your current targets for Gothenburg, and what are you needing to achieve?
With the green bonds, I think it was when we started this, it was a standalone project from the Treasury Department. That way, that investment decisions and so on that we take, the green fund is sort of the parameter where you have to choose. You see, you have to fulfill all the this fulfillment from the city's environmental program. And our target is to fund as much as we can from this kind of green finance. And there must always be a financial need that starts. You can't just look at the bond market and say, hey, we want to issue more green bonds because we have to have needs. But at the moment, that is actually the case because the demand from the market is so huge in that way. So there would be no problem to fund 100%, but you need to have the need for the money as well in that way. So I think it will increase year by year here, the money that we fund. I think also that we see is one of the great advantages is that the Treasury and the has to work together. Because the Treasury has a tendency, finance people in general has a tendency to believe that they are the center of the universe. They can solve everything. So when you issue an ordinary bond, it's just a dividend and the money back that the investor cares about. But when you have the green bonds, the investors want to know where the money is going. And that can't the Treasury Department answer. They have to start working together with the sustainability colleagues. And when these two groups start to work together, they run really fast because they're really addicted to what they're doing in that way. But they're not competing with each other. They really want to make a success out of it. I think that's one of the greatest benefits of being a
That's it. And so over to Google. Can you maybe just explain exactly how you do the solar rooftop mapping? And then also give us a little bit of an insight of where you're aiming to go with the program. Like, are you aiming to go global? What's the next step?
So the technology is based on something that started in Google Maps about 4 or 5 years ago. They decided they wanted to build a 3D sort of version of maps. images from airplanes. And those images can be turned into a 3D map of the world. And then a couple years later, we started to think about what can we do with that in the solar industry. And it turns out that you can take a point on a roof and look up at the sun for each time of the day throughout the course of the year. It's shaded, add up all the times it's not shaded in the sun. And then you do that for each point on the roof, have a number for the roof, overlay weather, overlay things like utility electricity prices, solar incentives and regulations. Combine all that into a really sort of succinct, customized answer for whether solar makes financial sense and how much energy can be produced by solar. So that's sort of the underlying technology, and we've done that now for the 43 million buildings that we've mapped in the US, and we look to continue expanding in the US as well. The other thing we've been doing is listening very carefully to the feedback we've gotten from stakeholders across the solar industry, city leaders and state leaders, to solar companies, to individuals, listening to their feedback and what kinds of features and additions would they like to see based on this data set that Google has and Microsoft has developed on top of it. We're really excited about this feature that we released about 2 weeks ago called the Data Explorer, where the Sunroof's sort of initial release was focused on the potential of one house. But now you can go and put in a city or a state and see what's the potential for that entire state. So that starts to inform what are the policies that should be in place. How do you implement those policies in a really effective way to maximize the potential of solar? So that's one direction we're going. We remain interested in expanding internationally. We have data that allows us to do that in about 30 or 40 countries, but no specific plans on timing. We have a relatively small team and a lot of goals that we're trying to reach, including this data explorer that we just announced as well. So, more to come, but no specific plans for international.
And just quickly, on the new states that you brought on board, was it relatively easy to roll out the technology? Was it quite of interest and uptake, or did you face a few challenges along the way?
The main piece of feedback we get from our general users when they leave us notes on the site is, when are you going to come to my area? We've got hundreds and hundreds of people asking us this question. So there has been a lot of really strong interest in moving out to new states, and as we move from the initial 3 cities, 2 states to now 42 states plus Washington, D.C. We see really strong uptake among users in those states, and really positive responses about the power of big data, the power of solar, combining those two. And I think it also it points the way to the value of big data in climate in general. What other ways can machine learning be applied? What other ways can big data be applied to help solve the problems that we're facing in climate, both measurements and implementing solutions as well?
Oh, fantastic. Supriya. So we know that Mangroves is fundamental to helping, curb sea level rise as well as build resilience for the community. So now you've run a pilot, right? So I was just wondering, and it's in a relatively protected area. So I was wondering, do you have plans of getting out of the protected area and also working maybe on coastal areas along the cities? And what challenge do you envision for that kind of work?
Basically, yes, we started this Humble project as our pilot project. And in 1 year, it's very heartwarming to say that what was a survival rate of about 30 to 40% has come to 80% today. So to us, that is one thing. The other thing is you actually see that there's more life now. Marine life has suddenly sprouted. We had very little crabs in the area, and that has sprouted like nobody's business in the last visit. So it gave us a lot of encouragement to do more. And this is just the area that we're talking about. But in all honesty, actually, we already have embarked into a bigger project. We were actually invited by a state ruler in our country to come up and tell him what it's all about, what this connected network is all about. Because he actually has this huge wetlands, about 800,000 over hectares, which he wants to conserve. And together with that, he also wants to have an environment where the community that he has there, the fishermen, the farmers, all these people stay within that wetlands and not go off to the town and start working. Done some programs for it, and it has actually come to a point where we signed an MOU with his foundation in the state, and so that is actually going to be rolled out as a program with them and various partners, because we're going to have a few of the sustainability goals covered under that, which is very not just the climate change, 13, actually life below water 14, because they're going to actually try and look into agriculture. So there are many things that this is going to take us through, and we will actually use different partners based on the solution that we're actually working for that. And this is just the start. It can be agriculture, it can be fisheries, it can be ecotourism. These are the few things that we're talking about. And of course, because we have a big price issue now. So all these are the areas that we can move forward to. To your question about challenge, well, I guess it's getting in more buy-in. Like this interest came from the state. Now we're starting to see that the forestry department is looking at help them. If more agencies and government bodies can actually jump into it and maybe corporate bodies, if we can actually hold hands together, I think we can make a lot of difference in whatever we want to do.
No, thank you very much. Really like that point that we made, that climate action actually touches upon so many of the SDGs, and it's really two sides of the same coin at the end of the day. And I think we should really congratulate you for change for identifying all your solutions and the innovation that you guys are promoting. We are very proud to be part of that, and it's really inspiring to hear all these solutions taking place on the ground. Because from our perspective, we will never end poverty if we don't stop climate change, and if we don't manage the impact of that. So now that you've heard each other's stories, I was wondering whether you'd like to give a little bit of feedback to each other on whether you were inspired by your stories.
You must have been reading my mind. I would like to highlight what Jeannette was saying about, and ask you a question about advertising or that first valuing women's contributions. And I teach humanitarian engineering, so a lot of what I am trying to do is to elevate these issues of equity and equality, experiences of men and women, and it's a slog. And I don't know yet that we have incorporated the importance of women's efforts in an area where we work. We calculate women hours saved by women who no longer have to spend 3 to 4 hours a day going to the well. But how do you get people to pay for that? Who's inspired to pay, and how can we help you do what you do so that we have more people who want, women bonds, or to invest in women through what are more sort of traditional financial mechanisms that maybe have never been applied to.
I swear I did not give her but I cannot think of a better one. And of course, I'll turn to you next to see what green bonds can do. Again, we're seeing investors want to have a social impact, and we hear that what they're missing is the metrics. They're missing the metrics that allows them the confidence that you spoke of, where they know that they're not getting pink-washed, right? Not just checking a box to say, yes, we had a few women benefit from this, but this was really serious. We're measuring results. We're not measuring inputs and outputs. We have come up with a new product, I think, that's going to help build this market, which is we are very soon going to be able to announce ways that carbon offset buyers can also do so in a way that so we are linking the W Plus standard with some of the carbon standards to make it very easy for offset buyers to do both things at the same time. So there will be a little bit extra of the payment of the unit, projects that can hopefully fuel this market. We think, we listened, there was a gender decision yesterday here. We know now that everybody is going to have to be gender throughout all aspects of climate change mitigation and adaptation. I think our time has come. So we'll talk. But I would like to throw this down the line and to see if within the bonds, is there any way you could think of incorporating a social impact system and quantify it?
Impact reporting can be involved in that way.
De-risk your investments.
It de-risks your investments in that way, as in from the investor point of view. Yes, you see that I think this is already correct for you. I think so. They're de-risk because they're moving in the right direction. But as an issue where I come from, you see also that there is an increasing risk because we have widened our investor base in that way. The more people want to invest in the city. We have huge asset managers, pension funds, and so on. But we also have calls from citizens that want to be part of the development. But the most faraway call we have had is actually from a shop owner in South Africa. They told us that you want to invest in this, what we call a green bond. Can I do that? Unfortunately, you can't do that because we are selling to institutions for the moment. But so the financial industry has started to develop this kind of products for the private market. There, and the bond is green bond or an ordinary bond, doesn't really matter. You can have whatever amendment you want to the bond. As long as you can have social bond, you can have bond, whatever you say, as long as there's a market for it. You have investors that want to buy it and you can do what you said with them because this is much a confident product for the moment. There's no state regulation or anything like that. This is an agreement between the investors, the issuers, and everyone else.
Do you have a question for Joy?
I have a question for Leslie. You've made some great advances in the technology of harvesting, and also that you're validating the model for using. I'm wondering where it goes next.
So where does the project go next? There are two tranches. One is the continuation of the research. So there's meteorological research, climate research, the material science, and the social science that we're doing. What we're trying to do is to be a research zone so that people who are interested in alternative solutions to water scarcity, in our case it's fog, have a place where they can come and push the envelope so that they can try new materials, so they can try new data gathering methods, so we can link the micro data that we have to the climate models. So there's a lot of gaps, research gaps. So we're available to that, but we can't do all of that. We don't have that expertise. We're doing the social science and the longitudinal research, so we're looking to see and really track the transformations in the community. Are the communities stabilizing? Are people coming back? Right? Is there a reversal of that exodus so that when you have people coming back to their homelands, they come back with a cultural commitment, but there has to be opportunity. So water represents opportunity. In some ways, agricultural opportunity. So we're working now by providing portable water, women's ties. That's created a gap, but a gap in the best way, right? So a gap in which then you can develop new programs. So we have programming that is water school, which is really environmental education in STEM or STEAM, because I like to add the arts in there. STEAM education for teenagers. Women are coming to these classes and they're looking through a microscope and looking at the compromised water and the fog water. So there's some science and environmental education, and then there's wash training because there are new water behaviors. With new water come new behaviors. There's different water use patterns. So with the project, the water's been turned on for about 16 months. So we're in there with programming, women's capacity building, water school. We have environmental youth ambassadors who come from the guys in the green shirts right there. They work in the countryside as well. So we continue to develop projects that are either health and literacy. I work with ICTP, women using their mobile phones to learn their letters and their numbers, because they're never going back to school. They've never been to school, or they're never going to school. But they're interested in literacy. They're interested in technological literacy, so they can stay in touch with their families. So we teach numeracy and literacy using a mobile phone. So you got to get creative and listen to the community. What do they want? What do they need? We bring as partners. Oh, well, you want literacy and numeracy. You've got a phone, so we can do this. We can do this together. And it's not so top down. It's some of it is top down, but it's that lovely meeting of the top down and the bottom up, right there in the middle, in that water channel.
Thank you, Leslie. So I think we're running out of time. I just want to really, really thank you and highlight that from the program that I'm working on, Connect for Climate, we have a program that aims to communicate these amazing solutions that people are working on, and we rely on you and all our partners to actually put the knowledge and show us the actions, and we just get really inspired by hearing the stories. We really enjoy the linkages with the youth, with the creativity, with the technology, with ITC, with smart finance, with innovative and new ways of doing the activities that we so desperately need. So today we presented some of the highlights coming out of the Movement for Change initiative of the UNFCCC. Tomorrow we're going to be celebrating all of you at the award ceremony. We're looking very much forward to that. It's really the flagship of one of the flagships of the UNFCCC process. It's probably one of the most exciting nights here. So we're happy to have you here. So we've heard from Leslie Dudson on women-led co-counseling here in Morocco. We've heard from Jeannette Gurung on the W7 in Nepal. We've heard from Lena about the Gothenburg Green Bonds. We've heard from Conkling about the project Sunroof in the US. And we've heard from Supriya Prasannan at Mangroves. Thank you so very much for being here and making time to be with us.